Weather and climate are two closely related concepts, but they describe different aspects of the Earth's atmosphere. Understanding the difference between them helps us interpret natural events, predict future conditions, and make sense of how our environment changes over time. Although both terms involve the behavior of the atmosphere, they differ mainly in timescale, measurement, and consistency. Weather refers to the short-term state of the atmosphere in a specific place at a specific time. It describes what is happening outside right now or over a short period, such as a few hours, a day, or a week. Weather includes conditions like temperature, humidity, wind speed, air pressure, and precipitation. For example, when you say it is raining today or the afternoon is sunny and warm, you are describing weather. Because weather changes quickly, it can vary from one moment to another, even within the same day or city. In the morning, it may be cloudy and cool, but by the afternoon, the sky might clear and temperatures can rise noticeably. This rapid change occurs because weather is influenced by many factors, such as air masses, ocean currents, mountains, and the rotation of the Earth. Meteorologists, who are scientists that study the atmosphere, use instruments like thermometers, barometers, and satellites to measure weather conditions. They gather data to make weather forecasts, which predict short-term patterns. However, since weather systems are complex, forecasts are not always perfectly accurate. For instance, a forecast might predict rain, but the actual outcome could be cloudy skies without precipitation. In contrast, climate refers to the long-term average pattern of weather in a region over an extended period. It does not focus on daily changes, but instead looks at the general trends and recurring conditions that persist for many years. It helps us understand what kind of weather is typical in a certain area. For example, a desert has a hot and dry climate, meaning that over a long time, most days are sunny with very little rainfall. Meanwhile, a tropical rainforest has a warm and wet climate, where heavy rainfall and high humidity are common throughout the year. Similarly, polar regions have cold climates, with freezing temperatures and ice-covered landscapes most of the time. To compare them more clearly, imagine you're planning a trip. The weather forecast helps you decide what to wear tomorrow. If the forecast says it will be cold and windy, you might take a jacket. However, the climate tells you what kind of clothing you would generally need if you lived in that area for a long time. For instance, someone living in a tropical climate would own lighter clothes year-round, while someone living in a cold climate would invest in warm coats and boots. While weather and climate differ in timescale, they are closely connected. Climate sets the background conditions that influence local weather patterns. For instance, an area with a dry climate usually has many sunny days and only occasional rain. However, that does not mean it never rains there. Short-term weather events can still bring storms or unexpected rainfall. Scientists study climate by collecting data over long periods to identify trends such as rising average temperatures, shifting rainfall patterns, or changes in wind direction. These long-term studies help determine whether a region's climate is stable or gradually changing. Another important difference lies in predictability. Weather is unpredictable beyond a certain number of days because atmospheric conditions shift rapidly. However, climate is more stable and predictable, since it represents averages over long durations. For example, while no one can say with certainty what the temperature will be on a specific day next year, we can be confident that a tropical region will still be generally warm and humid during that season. To summarize the key differences, weather is temporary and changes quickly, while climate is steady and changes slowly. Weather describes daily atmospheric conditions, while climate describes average patterns over many years. Weather can be measured at any given moment, but climate is determined by analyzing records collected over long periods. Weather helps with short-term decisions, like carrying an umbrella or wearing a coat, while climate influences long-term planning, such as building houses suitable for a particular environment or choosing crops that grow well in certain conditions. Let us also consider how these differences affect people's lives. Farmers, for example, rely on both weather and climate. They check the weather to decide the best day to plant or harvest crops, but they depend on the climate to determine what types of crops can grow successfully in their region. In coastal areas, the climate helps fishermen predict seasonal winds and ocean currents, while the daily weather informs them whether it is safe to go out to sea. Tourism is another example. A tourist planning a vacation will look at both factors. The climate gives them a general idea of what to expect, for instance, whether the place is usually sunny or snowy, while the weather forecast helps them prepare for the exact conditions during their visit. Weather and climate also influence ecosystems. Plants and animals adapt to the typical climate of their habitats. For instance, cacti thrive in arid climates because they store water, while mosses and ferns flourish in moist, cooler climates. However, when the climate changes gradually over time, it can affect the distribution of species, sometimes forcing them to migrate or adapt to survive. Scientists use the study of both weather and climate to understand climate change, which refers to long-term shifts in average climate patterns. Changes in global temperature, rainfall, and storm frequency can affect agriculture, water supply, and ecosystems. Unlike short-term weather events like storms or heat waves, climate change involves a steady alteration in averages over many decades. In conclusion, weather and climate are interrelated yet distinct concepts. Weather is the short-term expression of the atmosphere's mood, what we feel each day. Climate is the long-term character of a region, the general pattern of how that atmosphere behaves over time. Weather changes from hour to hour or day to day, while climate takes years or even centuries to show noticeable shifts. Both are essential to understanding the Earth's environment and how living things adapt to it. By studying them carefully, scientists and communities can make better decisions about agriculture, infrastructure, travel, and environmental protection. In simple terms, weather tells you what to expect now, while climate tells you what is normal over time.
Hope you liked this video. Drop a comment and tell us what topic you want to explore next. Don't forget to like and subscribe to keep learning and growing with us every day.